There is a quiet force in this world that most people overlook, that most people underestimate. It doesn't scream, it doesn't demand attention, it doesn't need applause, validation, or recognition. Yet it is unstoppable. It is silent. And those who understand it, those who master it, wield a power that words can never touch. Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, and the Stoics knew this centuries ago. That true strength is measured not by how loudly you assert yourself, but by how firmly you control your mind, your presence, and your reactions. In modern life, filled with noise, distraction, and endless chatter, this lesson is more urgent than ever. Silence is power, not absence. It is presence. It is mastery. And it is a weapon more potent than anger, argument, or aggression. You have experienced it yourself. The world clamors for attention. Social media shouts at you. Notifications, opinions, conflicts, they all scream to be heard. And in response, many of us have learned to shout louder, to argue harder, to prove ourselves constantly. But the Stoics would remind you, the more you shout, the weaker you appear. Power resides in the mind that chooses when to speak, what to reveal, and what to withhold. Epictetus said, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." Every word you do not waste in frustration, every reaction you restrain, every moment you observe rather than react, is a victory. You do not need to dominate the conversation. You need to master yourself. Modern life glorifies expression. Opinions are currency, arguments are stage performances. But think of the times you've seen someone act with calm, deliberate silence, and suddenly the room shifted. A colleague stops mid-rant, a friend falls silent after your measured pause, a competitor underestimates you until it's too late. That is the Stoic way, the invisible strength of restraint, the magnetic force of composure. Marcus Aurelius practiced it daily, not to impress, not to intimidate, but because he understood that words are fleeting. Actions endure. Character endures. The quiet mind is invincible because it is untethered to the chaos around it. You felt the temptation to respond, to argue, to correct, to fight. The modern world exploits this. Every insult, slight, and critique begs for reaction. But every reaction gives your power away. Stoicism teaches that mastery begins with the pause. That moment between impulse and action is where your freedom lies. 1 second of silence can speak louder than 1,000 words of rage. 1 breath held in control can dissolve the fury of a room. 1 choice to remain calm can turn the tide of conflict. Your silence is not weakness, it is armor, it is strategy. It is a weapon invisible to those blinded by their own noise. Consider anger, the most human of responses. Social media trains you to erupt. Life trains you to defend, to compete, to argue. But anger is a surrender. It is a leash others hold over you. The Stoic does not deny anger. They understand it, name it, and refuse to obey it. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "How much more grievous are the consequences of anger than the causes of it?" Every word spoken in fury, every reaction made in haste diminishes you. Every pause, every measured response, every refusal to engage in petty conflict elevates you. Silence is not absence. It is authority. The authority of a mind that cannot be disturbed. Modern life is addicted to noise. The more you speak, the more you are seen. But the true observer, the true ruler of their mind, needs no spotlight. They do not seek validation. They do not chase approval. They move, act, and influence without announcing it. Seneca observed, "He who is brave is free." And freedom begins with silence. The moment you stop feeding the chaos with your reaction, you reclaim your sovereignty. You become untouchable because your strength is internal, not performative. Power also lives in restraint. The world rewards impulsivity, but history rewards patience. Every time you restrain a criticism, every time you hold back a boast, every time you refuse to escalate, you grow stronger. Zeno, the founder of Stoicism, taught that virtue is sufficient for happiness, and virtue often manifests in restraint, in measured words, in action guided by reason rather than impulse. The person who speaks less often, but with purpose, commands more than the one who speaks without control. In silence, there is space to think, to reflect, to calculate. In silence, you see what others miss. In silence, you act when the moment is perfect, and the impact is undeniable. You've seen it in modern life. The quiet leader who never boasts, the competitor who never argues but always wins, the friend who never gossips but is always trusted. They do not need to prove themselves. They act with integrity. They act with calm. They act with purpose. And the world bends around them, not because of force, but because of the invisible power of their mind. This is the essence of Stoic silence. It is presence, not absence, influence, not noise, strength, not show. Imagine the chaos around you, every text demanding response, every criticism demanding defense, every rumor demanding correction. The pull to react is overwhelming. And yet, every moment you resist, you grow stronger. Every pause, every breath, every deliberate choice not to engage is a silent victory. You are no longer at the mercy of circumstance. You are no longer manipulated by opinion. You are free, untouchable, and in control. Silence is also the ultimate form of wisdom. Words are cheap. Reactions are fleeting. But observing, analyzing, understanding, and acting deliberately, these are eternal. Marcus Aurelius would remind you that the mind is like a fortress. Every unnecessary word spoken, every reaction given away, is a breach in that fortress. Guard your mind. Fortify it. Speak only when necessary. Act only when decisive, and in between, listen, observe, and reflect. This is the Stoic path to mastery, to influence, to victory without confrontation. The world will try to provoke you. Life will throw insults, betrayals, mistakes, and failures in your path. Your instinct is to shout, defend, argue, and fight. But consider the Stoic alternative: the pause, the breath, the measured action. In the stillness, you reclaim power. In the calm, you observe truth. In the silence, you decide strategy. The world sees quiet as weakness. That is your advantage. They do not realize that the mind that chooses silence controls more than the one that reacts. Modern life teaches you to fill every void with noise, every gap with words, every moment with reaction. But Marcus Aurelius, walking through the corridors of power, knew that real influence comes not from speaking, but from acting with integrity, from demonstrating strength through calm, from letting character speak where words fail. True victory is invisible. True power is silent. True mastery is self-governed. Even in relationships, silence is power. The urge to defend, explain, or justify is constant. But the Stoic understands that perception is not their responsibility. Action is. Every time you resist the impulse to argue, every time you choose calm over reaction, every time you let your integrity guide your behavior, you teach more than any words ever could. You shape your environment without confrontation. You influence without force. You win without speaking. And when failure comes, as it inevitably will, silence is still your ally. The world may mock. Circumstances may betray. People may misunderstand. But the Stoic mind remains unshaken. Every setback is met with reflection. Every disappointment with reason. Every challenge with composure. Marcus wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." Even silence can be an action, a shield, a strategy. You may wonder if silence is isolation. It is not. Silence is presence in its most powerful form. It is listening when others speak. It is understanding when others act. It is observing the truth that is hidden in the noise. In silence, you discover the patterns, the motives, the weaknesses, and the opportunities that others miss. In silence, you act with precision, impact, and control. This is the modern Stoic way: to navigate a world of chaos with unshakable calm, to wield influence without proclamation, to build power without aggression, to rise without noise. Social media, gossip, conflict, they are all distractions designed to steal your energy. Every moment spent reacting is a moment given away. But every moment spent mastering yourself, every breath held in composure, every decision guided by reason, this is victory. This is strength. This is freedom. Remember this: the world will never respect your silence until it feels the power behind it. Your calm will frustrate them. Your restraint will confuse them. Your integrity will inspire them. And in that space, unseen by most, you become unstoppable. You become the master of circumstances, not a servant to them. You act with clarity while others flounder in chaos. You win without words. So today, start small. Pause before speaking. Observe before reacting. Choose your words as carefully as your actions. Let silence guide your influence. Let calm shape your presence. Let restraint fortify your mind. The world is loud, chaotic, and impulsive, but you are deliberate, composed, and unshakable. Your power lies not in argument, not in spectacle, not in approval. It lies in your mind, your character, your silence. And when the night falls, when the noise subsides, when the world sleeps in its endless chatter, you will know the truth. You have won, not by raising your voice, not by proving yourself, not by fighting, but by mastering yourself. You have claimed power that words could never give, influence that no argument could achieve, freedom that no circumstance could take away. Silence is power. The Stoic way is to wield it. And in this quiet mastery, you are unstoppable, unshakable, and eternal.